Hello and welcome to SweTalk. I'm Saketh, one of the co-chairs of outreach at SWE at UCI.
And I'm Liz, and I'm the other outreach co-chair. And today we will be interviewing Caroline, a UCI student who came in as undeclared.
Hi everyone, my name is Caroline Bostwick. I am a third year computer science student at UCI. I have been involved with SWE for the past 2 years and in my freshman year as well. I've been on board for the past two, I'm a computer science student. I also was an RA on campus, and that's about it.
Awesome. So I guess we'll start off like, why did you choose to come in as undeclared? In your general experience.
Yeah, so I actually didn't choose to come in undeclared, unfortunately. I applied as computer science, but I ended up getting in as undeclared. But I really wanted to go to UCI, so I decided to go, even though I didn't have the major that I wanted. But it definitely, in the end, I really did. It was really nice to be able to, in the end, get the major that I wanted, and I had to kind of work hard to get to the major that I wanted. But yeah, I did not come in intentionally as undeclared.
Mhm. Now, you say that you worked hard to get the major that you wanted. And what's the best way that you think for you to get the classes that you need for your major to stay on track to graduate?
Right. So one of the most difficult things about being an undeclared student, especially trying to go into computer science at UCI, is that a lot of the classes are major restricted when you're trying to sign up for them. So when enrollment happens throughout the year, or when like in the few weeks that enrollment happens in the previous quarter, you can't sign up for any of the classes that you want because they're restricted to the majors that need them, which is understandable, but it makes it really difficult for someone outside of the major as like undeclared trying to switch in and try to get these classes. So basically, in order to get into the major, you have to take specifically in at UCI, it's ICS 31, ICS 32, and a few other ones. And those specific ones are very, very difficult to get because when it is your enrollment time, you aren't allowed to be signing up for them. So what basically happens as a at a certain time at a certain date, so like let's say you're trying to sign up for winter quarter, it's sometime during winter break, they just release all of the open spots at a certain time. It's like at noon of a random day, and that is the day that everyone that wants to try to get that class has to just rush and try to go get it. So it's basically not a fight of like who has more units or who has the better GPA. It's just basically who has the faster internet and who can try to log on to the website and sign up for those classes at that certain time. So for me, signing up for those classes was the most difficult part because it it's so hard to be able to plan what your 4 years is going to be like because you don't know if you're going to be able to get that class. You don't know if your internet's going to be fast enough. And so for me, I coming in into fall, I tried to get into a class called ICS 32A, which is basically a combination of ICS 31 and 32. Um, but I got onto the wait list for it, and then I never got off of the wait list. So then I had to, and then they didn't offer the class in winter quarter. So then I had to try, I had to go into ICS 31. And in ICS 31, I had my computer open, my sister had her computer open, and her boyfriend had his computer open. And we all had the codes ready to go. And so when it hit noon, we all just went and tried our best. And thankfully, one of our computers went through and the other two crashed. And I got the class that I needed. And then after that, basically for the next class, I basically had to do the same thing. And I got the class that I needed. So after getting ICS 31 and 32, everything else is not too bad. But those two classes are just super impacted. And it's really, really difficult to get those classes because there's so many people trying to get spots in such little amount of space. So it really is just a luck of the draw at the end, which is really unfortunate because there's nothing you can really do to plan that out. So there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of up in the airness about this major until you really get the major that you need. But basically, at the end of your first year, For me personally, I had finished all the classes that I needed. So then at the end of my first year, I was able to apply to change my major. And then basically, it's not like up to whether or not you have like a good GPA or anything. You just have to meet a certain requirement. And then after that, they approved it. And I remember I screamed. I was so excited because once you get that major, it makes signing up for classes so much easier, and it's the biggest like stress relief. And I know other people that have also gone through this changing of major have also experienced that, like the wave of, oh gosh, we've done it. Like once you get that, it's so much easier to be able to plan out the rest of your 4 years.
Man, that sounds stressful.
It
Did you
really,
have
really
any?
is.
Did you have any like Plan B majors just in case computer science didn't work out?
I definitely had a lot of plan B and plan C, plan D options. I took an extra stats class. I took stats 7 just in case I wanted to do data science, which is basically like it's computer science, but more math involved. And I remember I also considered doing software engineering, which is more like like computer and human interaction. So I also considered informatics as well. There was many majors I considered and wasn't sure would be right for me, but I had to kind of have plan B and plan C, plan D, because if you don't get the classes that you need, it's pretty difficult to uh, feel like you have to know that at least there's some other plan that you can fall back on if all else fails. So definitely considered data science, definitely considered software engineering, definitely considered informatics, definitely considered basically anything else in the school of ICS, but that wasn't computer science, basically. And also just like statistics and that kind of stuff. So definitely had plan A through Q at that point when I was trying to choose my major.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you had a lot of backup plans. But what were some of the resources that you used to figure out those plans?
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of times I talked to upperclassmen, and went on Reddit and all those places to try to like see how people's opinions were of certain teachers, certain classes, or some certain majors and that kind of stuff, and how people like what jobs people got from certain majors and stuff. So I would always check LinkedIn and see what like majors that went to UCI that like, oh, informatics majors, they ended up working these kind of jobs. So I did a lot of that. I definitely, again, the upperclassmen, just getting their opinion and what classes they enjoyed, what classes they recommended, how they ended up doing their own was super helpful. And because sometimes when you go and I would try to go and ask the like engineering, or not the engineering, the ICS counselors some questions. And I remember asking, there was one time that I had all my GEs were finished and I just needed to start taking like basically all computer science classes, but I hadn't gotten the major yet. And so I had finished the classes, but the like major the day that like all of the classes were being lifted hadn't happened yet. And so I was asking them, I was like, what do I sign up for if I can't like I don't have any GEs I need to fill up, but I don't have this like I finished the classes that I need to, but I like the application hasn't gone through for me to switch my major. So like what do I sign up for? And they're basically like, just sign up for random classes. And I was just like, okay, like I guess I'll just sign up for whatever. So I remember I like signed up for a random art class and a random something else just because I had to fill up my classes. And I ended up like once I got my major, like the application went through a few weeks later, I just then could actually sign up for the classes that I needed and then drop the other ones. But it was just the weirdest thing to like so many times the counselors like can't do anything for you. And so it's kind of just like an asking like your friends and asking your fellow upperclassmen and stuff like what did you do in order to like, or what classes did you sign up for during this quarter and that kind of stuff. So, and I definitely have been trying to, as like an upperclassman now, trying to be sharing that information with the people that are coming in, because I definitely needed that person to talk to me to say like, oh, this is what I did, and okay, I signed up for this class. Then it's so helpful to have like a mentor basically to talk to, which is super super nice.
Awesome. Yeah. Was it easy to like find other undeclared students or people who were undeclared? And like, were there any resources at UCI that helped you find people, or was it more like you're on your own to find other undeclared students?
It was the first day of my Math 2B class, and I ran it, just happened to like start talking to like two or three other girls that were just like also like in like waiting outside of the class early. And we were all undeclared and trying to go into computer science. And it was just the luck of the draw that we were all taking Math 2B at the same time with the same professor, and we were all undeclared trying to get into CS. And those are some of like my favorite like people in the major now. Like we try to like plan out our schedules and stuff, and we're like really good friends. So it's I feel like there wasn't necessarily like a certain club or anything, or like not club, but I'd say like a something on campus to be like, oh, these are the other people in your like that are also trying to get into computer science. But I I just happen to, I feel like once you talk to enough people in your classes and stuff, that you know that these like everyone that's taking Math 2B, you can assume their track is kind of similar to yours. You know, they're probably in the STEM field. um and I just got lucky to be able to just talk to like two or three lovely girls that were also trying to do the same thing I was. And so they were definitely a big support system um, throughout the first year when we all were like uncertain about our schedules and uncertain about classes and stuff. So I was really, really lucky to be able to like find those girls. But, and then through those people, we'd find other people. So it's like a long domino effect of, oh, this person knows this person that's also undeclared, and then like they would like kind of, we would all become uh like to know each other. So then like in next classes you'd be like, oh, I know you, and then you can go and sit by them and stuff. But obviously I think clubs like SWE and Wix are great resources to be able to find people that probably have done similar things to you. And I also know that like I remember there was specifically a Facebook post on some like class of 2000 and like 22 that was like, if you're undeclared trying to go into CS, like here's all the information you need to know. And I remember I like saved that on Facebook, and I would like reference it all the time, because all of the information that that person put there was like super super helpful. So obviously I think like your peers are some of your best resources to go to ask questions and stuff. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people on Facebook or like LinkedIn or something, if you find someone that was undeclared, that if you go and talk to them, they'd be like super willing to share that information with you, because it's really really difficult. So being undeclared is not one of the fun, it's heartbreaking. And it like, you know, throughout the quarters you're there's ups, there's downs, so you need all the support you can get.
Yeah, that's so what classes would you think were the hardest to get into? Were like they're the more introductory ones, or did you feel like the later on classes were harder to get into?
Yeah, I think the introduction classes as an undeclared student are really hard to get, just because there's so many people trying to get it, and there's a lot of people that are like unsure if they want computer science. And like I was pretty dead set that I was like, I think this is the major for me. Obviously, I had backup plans, but I there were some people that I know that would, after like one of the like some of the introductory classes, they're like, computer science is not for me. And now I have learned that, you know. So you have a mix of people that are trying to get into the class. So there's the people that have already the major, there's the people that are undeclared and just thinking maybe computer science would be good. And then I think some people just take those classes just because they are like, oh, I need a GE class. So there's a lot of people in the class that there's a lot of there's a mix of people. So I think the introductory classes, because they are the introductory classes, are the ones that are the most impacted because you have such a variety of people in there. And once you kind of get to the like middle and like intermediate to like advanced classes, it's less it's less difficult to get those classes because you're not competing with so many people that might not like might not want that major or aren't interested or anything, because like the people at the end, you're like, you are a computer science major, you kind of know how many people you're competing against for spots, I'd say. Yeah, but definitely the intro classes were the hardest to get for me, at least.
Mm. Is there any like specific advice you would want to give for either high school applicants that have been admitted as undeclared or any current undeclared students?
Yeah, definitely make friends with other undeclared students, because I know that like some of my best friends and some of the people that I like we bonded the most. I remember during SPOP, which is like student parent orientation, before freshman year, I definitely bonded with some of those undeclared people. And it is really nice to have someone, even if they're not undeclared, trying to get into the same major. It's really nice to have people that also feel the kind of uncertainty and panic that you're going through, of like, I don't know what major I want. I knew someone that was like planning to go for business and then tried something else. So it's nice to talk to people that are also going through that same uncertainty and same kind of panic that you're going through, because people that have the major already, they're pretty like solid. They can look at their 4-year plan and be like, I know what classes I'm going to take, where you're like, I have 7 4-year plans like laid out. I'm not sure which one I want. And obviously, like, it is super nice that I already knew about computer science and I knew that it's something I wanted to do. So talking to people and how their journeys progress, or maybe they take the first intro to computer science class and they're like, this is not for me. So, there's a lot of different journeys that people have. And I feel like it's super nice to have people that are also kind of going through the same thing, even if it's not specifically computer science, but just like one of my best friends is someone that's like an art major that went from undeclared to art. So it's definitely nice to talk to those people and bond with them, especially at SPOP, where you're trying to sign up for classes and stuff for the first time, where you're like, I'm not sure what to sign up for. So definitely that's a bonding experience that brought a lot of us close together.
What websites or schedule planning tools did you use to plan out your schedule and do
Yeah,
that?
so with so many schedules that you're like not sure what classes you're gonna get, I definitely utilize Ant Almanac, which is like a student made website that you can plan out like up to 5 schedules. So you can be like, okay, if plan A doesn't work out, I can try plan B. And it allows you to like color code it and like copy the course codes really fast. And it's super nice to be able to plan out multiple schedules, and you can also like download it as a calendar, so it's super nice. But just to plan out like what classes I needed to take, for anyone that doesn't know about like UCI's like registration site, there's a website called DegreeWorks, and you can basically test out what majors, like what classes you would have to take for what majors. So you can like basically go into like, what if you were this major, and then through there it shows what classes you have to take and like what general education classes you have to take as well. So then you can kind of check off what classes you've already taken. So if you're like, okay, what if I switch my major to this, what would it like, what kind of classes would it look like, and like what does my 4-year plan look like? So definitely DegreeWorks was super helpful. I tested out a lot of things, like, okay, what if I was this major with this minor, what if I was this specialization? Like there's so many different things. So definitely use DegreeWorks to your advantage.
Awesome. That's great advice. I think that wraps everything up for this podcast episode. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us. And for everybody watching, thank you. And make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for our latest videos.
Bye, thanks for having me.